Hello and welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. Iran has condemned the latest U.S. strikes as a gross violation of the ceasefire and threatened retaliation. This comes a day after Washington carried out what it described as self-defense strikes targeting Iranian missile launch sites and boats around the Strait of Hormuz. North Korea publicly announced that it tested a new range of weapon systems, including ballistic and cruise missiles equipped with advanced precision and AI-guided technologies. This comes after South Korea's military said it detected a missile launch the day before and renewed calls for Pyongyang to engage in efforts to ease military tensions and pursue denuclearization talks. Samsung Electronics labor union has wrapped up voting on a tentative wage agreement, with the result expected to be announced in around 30 minutes. Attention is now focused on whether enough members voted in favor of the deal, amid concerns over widening bonus gaps between business divisions. Iran has condemned recent U.S. strikes as ceasefire violations and warned it would defend itself, but diplomatic efforts to end the conflict appear to remain on the table. Our Cho Young-eun files this report.
Diplomatic efforts between Washington and Tehran appear to remain on the table despite the U.S. military conducting what it described as self-defense strikes. The U.S. said it targeted Iranian missile sites and mine-laying boats on Monday. After those strikes, Iran's foreign ministry accused the United States of repeatedly violating a ceasefire and carrying out attacks on Iranian commercial vessels. The ministry claimed Washington had continued what it called aggressive and unjustified actions, and that without a doubt, the Islamic Republic of Iran will not leave any evil unanswered and will not hesitate to defend the Iranian nation, leaving it unclear whether the strikes will derail efforts to end the conflict. However, the talks did not appear to collapse as the leaders of Iran and Qatar held a phone call, during which the Iranian president expressed gratitude for mediating negotiations with the U.S. and supporting efforts to reach a memorandum of understanding between the two sides. According to the statement, Iran emphasized its readiness to move toward what it described as a dignified framework to end the conflict and ease ongoing regional tensions. Qatar, which played a mediating role in the talks, reaffirmed its commitment to regional security and stability, pledging continued efforts to help bring an end to the current conflict in the region. Cho Young-eun, Arirang News.
North Korea says it has tested a new range of tactical weapon systems, including ballistic and cruise missiles equipped with advanced precision and AI-guided technologies. South Korea condemned the launch and renewed calls for Pyongyang to engage in efforts to ease military tensions and pursue denuclearization talks. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
North Korea says it conducted a major weapons test on Tuesday involving tactical ballistic missiles, guided rocket systems, and tactical cruise missiles, with leader Kim Jong-un overseeing the launches. State media said Wednesday that the test evaluated the power of a special warhead for tactical ballistic missiles, the reliability of a new precision navigation system for guided artillery rockets, and the AI-based targeting accuracy of a tactical cruise missile. North Korea claimed the new cruise missile can strike targets up to 100 kilometers away using terrain-following navigation and artificial intelligence guidance. The missiles are expected to be deployed near the inter-Korean border, potentially placing much of the Seoul metropolitan area within range if the claims are accurate. Kim Jong-un reportedly described the test as a major step in modernizing North Korea's military and called for the continued development of what he described as the world's most powerful artillery force. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said it detected multiple projectiles launched Tuesday from the North Korean city of Jeonju toward the West Sea, including short-range ballistic missiles and artillery rockets. Military analysts say the simultaneous launch of ballistic missiles and rocket artillery may have been intended to demonstrate North Korea's ability to evade missile defense systems through mixed fire tactics. In response, South Korea on Tuesday urged Pyongyang to cooperate with efforts aimed at promoting peace and easing tensions on the Korean peninsula. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Park Il said Seoul is once again calling on North Korea to respond positively to the government's peace initiatives and reaffirmed South Korea's commitment to the complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Some observers believe the latest launch may also have been intended as a response to South Korea's recently announced plan to pursue a nuclear-powered submarine program. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
And here in South Korea, voting on Samsung Electronics' tentative 2026 wage agreement wrapped up this morning, with the result expected to be announced at around 10:30 a.m. Turnout was already high before voting ended, reaching 92.4% as of Tuesday evening, across the company's two largest unions. The agreement requires participation from at least half of the eligible voters and a majority approval to pass. With turnout already clearing the required threshold, attention is now focused on whether enough union members voted in favor of the deal, amid concerns over widening bonus gaps between business divisions. For more on the Samsung Electronics wage deal, we're joined today by Professor Choi Hyun-sun, professor at the Department of Public Administration at Myongji University. Professor Choi, thanks for coming on today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So this vote by unionized workers at Samsung Electronics on the tentative wage deal has just ended, but the union appears to be sharply divided between the device experience and device solutions divisions. So how do you see the internal division within this labor union evolving from here?
I think the good news is I think that the deal is still more likely to pass. But as you say, the bigger issue may remain. I think we can see the deep split inside Samsung between the device solution division, so-called DS, and the device expression division, DX. So even if the vote is approved today, the internal conflict probably remain. So in other words, Korea economy will have a break time, and Samsung may avoid an immediate crisis. But the tension over fairness and the profit sharing is unlikely to disappear quickly. So we still have a big problem.
And with Samsung employees expected to receive massive bonus payouts, concerns are growing here in Korea that this could widen the income gap between workers even further. What broader impact could this might have?
I think this could deepen the gap between the wealth and the poor. So-called we have a K-shaped divide. I think a small group of people in the top companies may see their income rise sharply, but most workers maybe see the little change in their wages. So I think that it can widen the gap in the housing and the education and the future opportunity. So this become not just a company issue. Maybe this is a maybe big and broad the social issue, I think.
Right, and disputes over bonus payouts are also emerging in other Korean tech firms, and Kakao is one of them, and is now facing a potential strike. How do you think the conflict between management and labor will play out there?
I think Kakao may face a maybe more tougher and a longer conflict than the Samsung, because this is not just about bonus. This is about the overall pay system and trust between the management and the workers. So this dispute is spreading across several affiliate companies, so which makes it complicated. So tension may rise first, but I think in the end, the both sides will try to make a compromise about this issue, because this cannot be long. They cannot wait a long time. So I think they try to compromise soon. But I think not only Kakao, maybe other companies maybe has some kind of issue similar like that.
I see. And before I let you go, in the stock market, some analysts are warning investors of the boom and bust cycle of memory stocks. Amid especially the AI excitement, while others say semiconductor shares could help drive the KOSPI above 10,000 points. What are your thoughts on this?
Today we can see the record break, the KOSPI. So maybe 8,400. So I cannot believe that in short time the market is really soared up. I think both views make sense. Maybe semiconductor share can keep pushing the market higher, and in the short term. But because the AI demand still is very strong, but the market is becoming too dependent on just Samsung and maybe SK Hynix, that makes some problems. So KOSPI 10,000, I think may be possible, but if the rally still remains too narrow, this kind of like two companies dominate everything, the market also become much more fragile. So we don't know yet. We can have a 10,000 KOSPI, but still market seems like a fragile, and then we cannot expect which way.
I see. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, Professor Cho, thank you so much for your time and insight today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Korea's benchmark KOSPI has broken another record, passing the 8,400 mark for the first time. After a strong opening on Wednesday morning, the index quickly soared nearly 5% to trade around 8,447 just minutes into the session. The rally triggered a buy-side sidecar shortly after the opening bell, halting program buying for 5 minutes as KOSPI 200 futures jumped more than 5% from the previous close. The surge is largely being driven by Korean memory chip giants like Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix. Investor sentiment was heavily boosted by a massive overnight rally from U.S. chipmaker Micron technology, which fueled expectations of a broader rebound in the global semiconductor sector. Following the surge, SK Hynix has become the second company to pass $1 trillion in market cap after Samsung Electronics. And Korea has unveiled a much-anticipated plan to develop its own nuclear-powered submarines, as President Lee Jae-myung held the first meeting of the Future Defense Strategy Committee on Tuesday. Our Oh Soo-young has the details.
Korea has set out its first ever plan to develop conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarines, pledging close communication with the United States and strict compliance to non-proliferation rules. The Defense Ministry unveiled the roadmap Tuesday, naming it the Changbogo-N project, a nod to Korea's first naval submarine, the ROKS Changbogo, with the N standing for next generation, nuclear-powered, and new advanced technologies. This comes as North Korea continues to grow submarine-launched nuclear missile threats. Seoul's goal is to launch the first vessel in the mid-2030s, with deployment expected after the late 2030s. The submarine would use low-enriched uranium reactors designed for long-cycle operation to minimize fuel replacement. Development will be local, with Seoul seeking independent maintenance and sustainment capabilities. The program will manage the submarine's full life cycle, from design and construction to operation, fuel management, and decommissioning. The ministry also laid out 3 non-proliferation commitments, stating Korea will neither possess nor develop nuclear weapons in any form. Seoul also pledged to coordinate closely with Washington on securing and managing low-enriched uranium while fulfilling its non-proliferation obligations. Korea will in fact establish a safeguard system with the International Atomic Energy Agency, especially for nuclear-powered submarines. The announcement follows moves by Seoul and Washington to implement security commitments agreed by Presidents Lee Jae-myung and Donald Trump and outlined in a joint fact sheet last year, including U.S. cooperation on Korea's nuclear-powered submarines initiative and Seoul's push for civil uranium enrichment and spent fuel reprocessing rights.
The United States should view South Korea's request not primarily as a proliferation risk, but as an alliance adaptation issue. For the United States, supporting South Korea's nuclear-powered submarine ambition would strengthen Allied undersea capacity at a time when China's neighbor expansion and North Korea's nuclear threat are both intensifying. A South Korean assassin capability could contribute to deterrence, sea lane security, anti-submarine warfare, and broader Indo-Pacific maritime stability.
In Washington, D.C. last week, First Vice Foreign Minister Park Yun-joo met with his counterpart, U.S. Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs Alison Hooker, who will lead an interagency delegation to launch bilateral working groups in Seoul in the coming weeks. On Tuesday, President Lee said nuclear-powered submarines built on the foundation of a firm alliance with the U.S. symbolize Korea's determination to take responsibility for peace and security on the Korean Peninsula. Usuyoung, Arirang News.
On the cultural front, BTS took home the top honor of Artist of the Year at the American Music Awards in Las Vegas on Monday, earning a second victory in the ceremony's flagship category. Our Park Eun-woo has more.
Members looked stunned while some hugged each other with joy. The reactions came as BTS was announced the winner of the top honor, Artist of the Year, at the 2026 American Music Awards held in Las Vegas on Monday local time. It marked the group's second win in the category following its historic victory in 2021, when BTS became the first Asian act to receive the award, before members began their mandatory military service.
Thank you. It's an honor to have this precious award once again after everybody done their military service. Like the legendary Busta Rhymes said, it's a fan-voted award, so our biggest thanks and gratitude, as always, goes to the armies all over the world.
The group beat out 9 other nominees, including Bad Bunny and Taylor Swift, to claim the award. BTS at the AMAs also picked up 2 additional trophies: Song of the Summer for Swim, the lead track from its latest album Arirang, and Best Male K-pop Artist, sweeping all 3 categories in which the group was nominated. While AMA is considered one of the 3 major US music awards alongside the Grammys and Billboard Music Awards, the AMAs are widely seen as a stronger reflection of public popularity, as winners are determined through fan votes after nominees are selected over factors including streaming numbers and album sales. With BTS sweeping awards at the AMAs just 2 months after the album's release, attention is also drawn to whether BTS will be able to win a trophy at the upcoming Grammys next February. BTS hasn't won a Grammy so far. Also at the ceremony, KPop Demon Hunters took home 4 trophies, including Song of the Year for Golden from its soundtrack and Best Soundtrack. Singer-songwriter EJ thanked fans for helping the song in the film gain tremendous support. In addition, Korea-US collaborative K-pop group KATSEYE also emerged as another standout winner, earning 3 awards, including New Artist of the Year. The members also expressed gratitude toward BTS for helping expand global interest in their genre. KATSEYE also performed its latest track release, Pinky Up. With multiple K-pop acts taking home major honors at this year's AMAs, expectations are growing for the genre to further expand its global dominance. Park Eun-woo, Arirang News.
Good morning, I'm Chu Ji-hyun, and this is the World Now. In Belgium, a train struck a school minibus at a level crossing on Tuesday, killing 4 people, including 2 special needs pupils. The driver and a chaperone for the students also died. 5 other students' children were also seriously injured. The crash in the town of Buggenhout happened despite the crossing barriers being down. It is not yet clear how the minibus entered the path of the train. The train was traveling at an estimated 120 kilometers per hour. None of the passengers aboard the train were hurt. An investigation has been opened, and authorities said an autopsy on the bus driver will be carried out. U.S. memory chip maker Micron Technology joined the $1 trillion market cap club on Tuesday after shares jumped 19% to close at a record high. The surge came as brokerage UBS more than tripled its price target on the stock to $1,625. Micron is only one of 3 companies globally that can make high-bandwidth memory chips at scale, alongside South Korea's Samsung and SK hynix. Its entire 2026 supply of those chips is already sold out, suggesting demand is outpacing capacity. Micron is now the 11th largest U.S. public company after its stock hit 28 record highs in 2026, while shares have risen more than 8-fold in the past 12 months. NASA on Tuesday unveiled the next steps in its plan to build a permanent base on the moon's south pole by 2032, awarding contracts to Blue Origin, Intuitive Machines, and Astrobotic to build robotic landers, hopping drones, and surface vehicles. The agency wants to send 25 robotic launches to the moon by 2029 before humans arrive. A nuclear and solar-powered base would allow the U.S. to conduct scientific experiments, mine resources, and support future missions to Mars. However, experts warn NASA's timeline is unrealistic, as SpaceX's Starship, the key spacecraft needed to land humans on the moon, has faced repeated setbacks. Nearly 90 drones crashed into Sydney Harbour on Monday evening after a technical malfunction during a drone show. The drones plunged into the water near crowds of spectators at the annual Vivid Sydney Festival. The UK company behind the show blamed an unforeseen change in the radio frequency after takeoff that triggered the drone's emergency landing procedures. No injuries were reported. Organizers have canceled several upcoming shows pending a full safety assessment.
Good morning, I'm Lee Ji-hyun with the latest weather updates. While the capital region didn't see as much rain as expected yesterday, the muggy air likely made many people feel unusually tired all day. Well, we had gray skies to start off the day, and scattered rain is still falling in some parts of Korea. Then most parts of Korea will be seeing 5 to 10 millimeters of on and off showers through the afternoon, with rain tapering off from the western regions from this morning. Clouds acted like a blanket overnight, keeping temperatures warm this morning. Then afternoon highs in most regions will be 1 to 7 degrees Celsius lower than yesterday, and tomorrow will stay mostly cloudy with another round of rain expected in most regions. For a closer look at today's afternoon highs, Seoul will be getting up to 24 degrees Celsius, Daejeon at 26 degrees, Gwangju will be warmer at 27 degrees, but Gyeongju and Busan will be topping out at 22, Jeju at 25 degrees Celsius. Air quality will be clean nationwide all day today. And after this short break from the heat, by the end of the week, temperatures are expected to rise again, with Seoul climbing back near 30 degrees Celsius by Sunday under sunnier skies.
That's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching.